Afternoon, everyone. One of the most pressing problems for any commerce, engineering, or IT student is the graduate vacation program dilemma. With the number of university students increasing every year, whilst the supply of graduate positions remain relatively stagnant, it is an absolute nightmare navigating our way through this structural mismatch. Now, this video will break down all the goalposts, ranging from application, psychometric testing, video application, and ACs, with some tips and tricks of the trade, and we'll aim to provide info predominantly to fresh students who aren't aware that uni isn't actually the end goal, our job is, as well as seasoned appliers who may be having some trouble sealing an offer, or even getting consistent ACs, which is a stage that everyone actually has the capacity to get to. So without further ado, let's begin. Stage 1, application. The application process is relatively straightforward. It is okay to be generic, especially when answering the boring questions firms ask you about culture or why you want to work here. I don't actually think HR reads them. Similarly, your resumes and cover letters don't have to be too special either. Just have a generic one that you can tailor to the respective firm's values, or you can just Microsoft find and replace certain keywords or sentences to adjust to the business unit you apply for. It's not like law, where the cover letter is extremely important. Also, don't make your resume more than 1 to 2 pages. Generally, most people will get past this stage, as it is entirely dependent on your WAM or GPA. As long as you pass a certain benchmark, it triggers the online questionnaire stage, which may be sent immediately. Hence, this can actually be exploited. Regardless, this stage is cumbersome as cucumber, especially if they make you manually write your academic transcript in. Stage 2, psychometric testing. This is actually the most difficult stage for fresh applicants who don't have much experience with these types of tests. I like to think of these tests as a reflection of your hard technical skills, more or less. You can't BS your way through with charisma or other soft skills, so marketing, management, and a lot of art majors will be in trouble because of the lack of maths background. It's also the stage where most students get culled. As a guide, they offer the next stage to people who get the most right in the quickest amount of time. Don't expect to get past the stage the first few times you do it. It's all about experience at this point. It's absolutely crucial that if there is a question you don't know, screenshot it, skip it, and do it at a later time. You need as much exposure as possible, and that is hindered by time constraints. Companies will never supply answers, and rarely will they supply feedback on the performance of your online testing. Testing companies are usually SHL or Rebellion, as well as some niche ones that are more or less very similar to SHL. SHL is your stock standard run-of-the-mill testing system. If you do enough of these tests, you'll come across the same questions, which are basically free marks. The more you do, the better your position, hence the importance of repetition and screenshotting. The other testing system that is used by many companies is the Rebellion. Rebellion is a one-time testing system which expires after a year. You absolutely cannot mess it up. So there is the cognitive test and the theme park hero. Now both are, they're relatively straightforward, but the format of it can and does throw a lot of people off. So as you only get one shot, if you do mess up, you'll be instantly rejected by heaps of big firms such as KPMG, Westpac, AMP, and BHP last time I checked. Overall, unless you're an absolute genius, online testing will be hard the first few times you do it. There are also personality tests. You can actually fail this stage even if you ace the aptitude testing. In my opinion, pick the options which suggest you're a team player, have long-term career objectives, and are very loyal. The parameters aren't so strict for this test, so as long as you fall within a certain range, you'll be fine. You can also Google the values of the company and try and sync it up with your responses. There are some other sneaky tactics you can use, but I won't endorse. One is to make multiple fake accounts that will trigger the testing, so basically you get a free chance to do the test before you apply with your real application. Screenshotting is also technically against the rules, but it is something that you can use. Stage 3, video stage. From this stage onwards, it's a little harder to prepare and becomes more contingent on softer skills such as communication, humor, and so on and so forth. Just have a quick Google search for potential questions they ask. I personally talk about a different situation or scenario for every question I get. I never talk about the same work experience, sporting experience, or academic experience. Try and be casual, smile a bit, and wear a nice suit. Make sure your responses are unique. Don't talk about generic uni projects unless you absolutely have no choice or it's actually interesting. The key is to stand out. It can be a bit unnerving as it can be confusing whether to look at the camera or at yourself on the screen, but it doesn't matter. This stage is almost entirely upon soft factors such as projecting a clear voice and being confident. Stage 4, assessment center and final interview. If you've made it to the AC, pat yourself on the back. You've gone through the completely strenuous process and have finally reached the boss battle. Wait, don't actually pat yourself on the back, because if you fail here, all the stages you've gone past means very little. There is no job or program for second place, unfortunately. Obviously, ACs are the most competitive and demoralizing stage. People are hungry for blood. There is this incredibly profound and weird dynamic when you walk into these rooms where everyone veils their anxiety and worries with friendliness, and it manifests in really awkward stuff like people talking over each other, subtle threats, idea stealing, sabotaging. I hate it, but it's supposed to represent real work life. Regardless, some generic tips that can apply to anyone is, don't interrupt anyone, don't monopolize a convo, and keep in mind that the outcome isn't to win through pushing your idea or strategy, it is to facilitate discussion. Have everyone contribute. Be the team player that is rational, be the team player that is pragmatic. The process is much more important than the outcome. A key thing I like to do in every AC is to ask the nervous person. And there always will be one nervous person who doesn't talk. Ask them for his or her input. Be like, hey Frank, how do you feel about X, Y, or Z? Or hey Jill, what's your opinion on this? Remember to refer to the individual by their name and make sure the assessors are listening. When you're all pushing forward your ideas and someone shuts it down, smile, be calm, and take it like a champ. Remember, you have to be above all the petty BS people do to undermine each other. Be untouchable and be professional. Also, keep track of time. People love to go on big ass tangents about absolutely nothing. Try and get everyone on board with the objectives so that the work is actually done. The issue is that every now and then someone will just keep talking and talking and talking, and it takes up precious time that you might need to talk, and other people need to discuss their viewpoint. So try and get everyone back on track. If the group activity requires number crunching, make sure you do the maths, especially for commerce. It shows you're analytical, shows you can back your case up with logic, and you don't actually have to get the numbers right, just mention the trend, mention the figures, and how it affect X, Y, Z. There is also usually a public speaking component. You have to kill it here. Speak clearly, smile, and be confident. There's not much advice I can provide here, but it won't bode well if you're stuttering or if you're sweating. Oh, and please, please, please don't be that person who after a group activity says, "Great work everyone, I think that was a really good idea." It's really disrespectful because everyone actually hates each other. This is the devil talk, and anyone who conjures up this BS is deep in his playground. Final interviews. Usually the final interview is directly after the AC. It may not be, but regardless, it's with a manager or a partner. It may seem very intimidating at first because these crusty old guys actually determine and have the largest input on whether you get the offer or not. You can actually do terribly in the AC, but if you smash out the final interview and the partner really likes you, you can still get an offer. My hypothesis for this is because AC is run by HR, whilst final interview is at the whims of the partner or director. And HR is not going to mount an argument against anyone who's miles above them in pay grade and prestige. Make sure you offer a firm handshake. Don't offer a pathetic, limp excuse of an extremity. Your girlfriend may pretend to be fine with it, but that action in itself can trigger an instant failure in the partner's eyes. It's a first impression after all. If they ask you a particularly hard behavioral question, it is absolutely fine to say, "May I please have a few moments to think about it?" Sip on your water and be patient. It shows you're relaxed, focused, and whatnot. It's a much better alternative than simply diving into your answer and spouting out nonsensical BS. Also show good eye contact. Sometimes two partners will interview you. Give equal eye contact to both. Engage with both of them. If you alienate the other, or just one of them, they won't like that. Once again, much like video questions, give varied responses. Don't talk about the same stuff. Also try and implement some humor if you can. That's how you become memorable. I took a big risk for one of my final interviews where one of the questions were, "What is your biggest failure?" I responded with, "My life." The partners laughed and then I responded with my actual answer. Now that is a play you might not want to engage in, and the partner may have turned around and be like, "Get out," but high risk, high reward, and you got to make some plays to get an offer. Remember, in your AC of 15, 20 or 30, they'll only take roughly between half to a quarter of you guys. Some miscellaneous tips. Firstly, apply early, both in terms of year and application time. Most of these firms do rolling recruitment, so first in, best dressed. If you apply late, they may have already filled up that spot. Also, apply in first year. Even if you don't get back, you can get valuable experience. Also, manipulate your graduation date. To be eligible to apply for Vax and Grad, you have to be at a certain year, penultimate or graduate year. Hence, if you're grad and you haven't secured a grad program, say you're going to do honours and apply for vacation programs. If you're a first or second year for a 4 to 5 year degree, say you're going to overload and apply for Vax. Even though you're not technically penultimate, doing this gives you multiple chances at the pie. Check out Whirlpool forums. Just give a quick Google search for graduate programs and Whirlpool forums. Basically, it's a good sort of indication of how you're going because people post timings. It's just other students who are competing for grad or vacation programs who just update people on their progress and give sort of useful information and trade thoughts and whatnot. But also take it with a grain of salt, because some people can mislead others, because after all, you guys are once again competing. Your uni have various clubs hosting cocktail, networking or information sessions. Personally, I don't think these sort of sessions are too helpful, as there always will be some keen push student who will monopolize a combo and just talk to a HR rep for around 3 hours. Other people say it works. Use at your own caution, really. I mean, the only expense really is time, and if anything, there will be free booze. Recording. It could be very useful to record your progress for your graduate and vacation applications. Have an Excel spreadsheet, as shown below, which documents your success or your failure and at which stage you get to. It's good to know what you have to work on, and it's good to work on that feedback. Unpaid internships are an option. I can't stress the importance of having an internship or a vacation program in order to get a graduate program later on. Even if it's not a reputable firm, do an unpaid internship for a few months if need be. Ask your uni to set you up. Do some sort of IBL program. Even if you don't learn anything, just having it on your resume and being able to talk about it is crucial. You'll end up learning basic Excel, so best case, and worst case is you can just learn how to sort of BS it. I can honestly say that my internship boosted my chances to getting into a grad program twofold. If all else fails and you still can't land a grad, it's not a big deal. Go and seek and apply for an entry-level role and work your way up. Conversely, just go on break for a year and apply again, do some research, and try and make yourself a better person so that you have a stronger resume and you have more experience and more life skills to talk about when you get to the ACs again. Overall, with enough hard work, we all get to where we want to. It just takes a bit longer for some. So there you have it, some tips that can help you out. If you have any additional questions, please comment and I'll reply. I'd love to get some sort of discussion going on down below in regard to terrible grad experiences or something unique. It's an experience that we all know too well. I'm also considering having a video on each section, so I can discuss in greater detail about practice aptitude questions as well as mock interviews for behavioral type questions. Let me know what you guys think about that. Anyways, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you've learned something. Try not to stress out too much, and hard as it may be, try and have some fun. Also, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could smash out that like button. For every like that we can get, Australia's unemployment rate will fall by 1%, so smash it out. Good luck guys, and all the best in your quest for a graduate program.